the function is of integer. Begin with the part 2, which is functions. So the learning objectives of part 2 is how to create a function, need of function, defining user defined functions, and checking scope of variable. The prerequisite for this part is basics of computation, then basics of data structures, and conditional statement that we just have seen. Now as we can see the definition, a function is a block of recognized reusable code that is used to perform a single related action. So now we can have functions which are categorized into two categories: predefined functions that we anyway are using, like functions like print, or we have seen lot of functions in last 4-5 days. All those were the predefined functions. Matrix functions was there. Today we saw sequence underscore along, sequence underscore length functions, but we haven't seen how to create a function. That's what we are going to see now, a user defined function. So to create a function, the syntax is given over here. The name of the function, here it is my fun, and the keyword function is used, or we can say a inbuilt function is used along with arguments, and in curly brackets we need to provide a body of the function. So from if you see from this part, it is exactly similar to definition of functions in C and C++, but only instead of giving function name directly, we are giving the function name first and then calling inbuilt function. So just check a function that we have created for a Fibonacci series. The name of the function is Fibo, and we are calling inbuilt function, and we are providing some parameter. Parameter may be anything. Let us check what that parameter is. From call we can understand whether this parameter is an integer or a string or character or whatever it is. But the body of the function says that there will exist two variables, var1 and var2, with their initial values as 0 and 1. We'll be printing those values. Then we are calling a for loop, and we are running that for loop from 1 to whichever value of a that will be provided. Here there exists var3, which will have the results of addition of first two variables. Then we are printing var2, and we are simply assigning value of var2 to var1 and value of var3 to var2. That is, we are interchanging the values. Not exactly interchanging, but var1's value will be vanished and it will have a value from var2, and var2's value will be replaced by var3's value, and so on. Now you can see here, this is a call made to the function name and the argument. So now we can see here from the call that the argument that is provided to the function is of integer type. So 5 will go inside a, means here also this for will run from 1 to 5. So all this will happen 5 times, because this for loop is going to execute for 5 times, and so we will get the Fibonacci series up to 5, that is for first 5 elements. So if we perform this on our studio, so we will be first declaring a variable, function name, that is Fibo, and then we'll call a built-in function, that is function. It is taking an argument, so call it as a, and then body of function. Now in that we are first supposed to create two variables which will have initial values as 0 and 1. So these two variables have been created. Let's print them. You all must be knowing that Fibonacci series starts with 0 and it simply goes on by adding previous two numbers to generate the next number in the series. So we are creating printing var1, then we are printing var2. So always Fibonacci series is first two numbers are same, that is 0 and 1, and then we are calling for loop. Let us have x here and the vector will range from 1 to a. Now inside for loop we will be having third variable, so var1 plus var2. Once we do this, we will be printing var3, and then assign the value of variable 2 to variable 1 and assign the value of variable 3 to variable 2. So this is done, and now calling the function Fibo. So with value 5. So first let me execute the definition of a function, or the definition of the function. It has been executed, and now let us execute the call. And once we execute the call, 5 will go inside A, and accordingly this function will start executing, and we are getting the Fibonacci series of first 5 elements. It is starting from 0, 1, 0 plus 1 again 1, 1 plus 1 2, 1 plus 2 3, 3 plus 2 5, and 5 plus 3 8. So in this way the Fibonacci series got executed and displayed. So this is how we create a function in R programming. The name of a function, then function, built-in function itself, number of arguments that we want to provide, and the body of the function. And once that is done, then call to the function is made. Moving forward, now let us create another function which is displaying, based on the input taken by user, whether a function, whether the particular person is eligible for voting or not. So let us create a function with the name voting eligibility, and as we just saw, we have to call a built-in function a function, but now you can see here it is not taking any argument, so it is function without any argument. The body of the function says that we have to declare a variable age, and now here we'll be taking values from user. So for taking values, we use a function readLine. Now this readLine takes every value in the form of string or character, we can say, but as we want to have age, we convert it into a numerical or integer format using as.integer function, which is used to explicitly convert a string value into integer value. Once that is done and we have age, then we are simply checking whether age is less than 18. If it is so, we say that you are not eligible for vote, otherwise you are eligible. So let us execute this on our studio. Let us create a function voting eligibility, voting. I will just short the name, voting ELG. This is also important if you are using a function pretty much frequently for many number of time. Keep the name as short as possible, but make sure it is relevant. Now the keyword function, we don't want to pass any argument, so keeping that blank. And now let us start with the body of the function. We are supposed to declare a variable age, and into that, we are taking values from user. So age dot integer, because we want it to be integer. Then read line, into that enter your age. So if you see, the readLine function takes input, but in its syntax we can also display a string. So it's very useful. Like in C, we used to give printf first, that enter your age, and then used to have a scanf function, but here you can do it within a one function. Though this is a function for taking input, it can also display a string before taking that info. So this is how we are taking input value. Now once we have age and once we have converted into an integer, now we can apply some comparison to that age. So if your age is less than 18, it simply means that you cannot vote, not eligible for voting. And if your age is not less than 18, means you are exactly 18 or more than 18, then need not check the condition, but you can directly say that you are eligible for voting. You are eligible for voting. So this is what my voting function do. If I run this, I can see here that my voting function has successfully executed. Not executed, but successfully compiled. Now see how to call this function. As you can see here, a readLine function reads a line from terminal in interactive views. So it reads everything as a line, that is as a string. That's why we explicitly converted our function, our value into integer using as.integer function. Now once we are done, we need to call simply by using a function name. So function name is voting ELG, and as we don't want to provide any value, we can simply run this. You can see here it is asking age, so enter your age. So I'll say my age is say 30, and it simply displayed eligible for voting, that I am eligible for voting. Let us again run this just to check whether it is giving correct answer even for age which is less than 18. For both the cases it should give proper answer, yes, not eligible for voting. So this is how we have created a function which is displaying whether a person is eligible for voting or not based on his or her age. So now creating a function to return a value. So it is very important for a function to return a value. For making a function return some value, we use a return statement. Just like in C and C++, here also the return statement is used. Now check this, we are creating a function, sum between 2 is the name of the function. What the function is doing, it is taking two numbers. Actually, what we can what we can infer from having the names num1 and num2. So it is having third variable inside it, result, which is initiated with 0 value, and calling for, which will be starting from num1 and going up to num2. Result is being incremented by whatever current value of I, and finally it is returning the result. Okay, so this function is basically doing the addition and of each element within a given range and returning that addition as an output. So if we do this, you can keep any name. I am sticking to the name that we have used in slide. So name between, sum between 2 is the name of the function, quite odd though. And then the keyword or the built-in function. To that function, here we are providing two values, num1 and num2. And now starting with the body of the function or a definition of the function, it has a variable result in it, which is initialized with value 0. And now for I in num1 up to num2, simply add result with result plus I. Once we do this, return the final value after execution. So return result. So now this is function. Let us first compile our function. It is properly compiled, successfully compiled. Now we can call the function. Sum between 2, and let us give it some value from 2 to 6. So 2 plus 3 5, 3 plus 2 plus 3 5, plus 4 9, plus 5 14, and plus 6 20 should be given as an answer, but it will not give an answer as such. Okay, you got here 20, but what this function do is it simply return it. You can assign that return value to some variable if you want. So if I get x as a variable here, if I run the code, now you can see here I didn't get any value as such, because whichever value came as an output went into x. Now if I print x, then only I will be able to get the result. Okay. As you can see here, 20. So this is how we return value from a function using a return statement, just like we used to do it in any other programming language. This is what we just have performed. So this is the summary of today's session. Today we have learned various flow control statement, primarily condition control statement, loop control statement, case control statement, along with that jump and break statements. Next and break statement, which are jumping statements. In part 2 of today's session, we learned functions, how to declare a user defined function, how to provide argument to those functions, and how to return a value from the function. So this is still at a beginner level, and there is much more concept if we go into depth of R programming. So with this, we'll end today's session. Have good practice over whatever we have learned today, and also go into depth of R programming. There is lot of things to be done with R. Thank you.